All right, welcome back to another video. All right, today I want to talk about a very common, very common issue for a lot of people, and that is chronic pain. Now, I have come to understand and believe that probably 90% of the pain that you're suffering from is due to lifestyle, due to something that you're eating, something that you're ingesting, something that you're drinking, or lack of activity. And I've come to this conclusion over a long period of time. Now, of course, there's acute pain, which is, you stub your toe, or you cut your finger, or you pull a muscle, or overexert yourself at the gym. Obviously, those are things that will create pain in the system. But I believe that most people suffer from pain due to foods that they're eating. And I've come to this conclusion because I've seen it with my own personal diet. And even though I eat a vegan diet, I'm going to explain to you guys how there are inflammatory foods that are clean foods, but can be very inflammatory to the body, even though they're supposedly health foods. And these are foods that you have to be made aware of, because if you're having a reaction to them, you're getting chronic pain on a daily basis, you're going to want to cut those foods out. That's unless you want to continue to have pain. So that's the problem. So I'm going to walk you through my experience and how I've come to this conclusion so that maybe you can learn something from it. So I'm going to back up about over probably a year or so ago. I would start having this very intense pain out of nowhere. It just would show up randomly. It wasn't like I went to the gym and then the next night or that night or the next morning I woke up with, like, it could happen anytime. I could have went to the gym, could have not went to the gym, could have not went to the gym for 3-4 days. It would just show up. And it was right in the back underneath my right shoulder blade. And it was very intense pain to where I could barely stand up, barely get out of bed. Sometimes. In fact, I called in sick twice at my former employer because there's no way I was going to work with that intensive pain. And one time I got up to go to the bathroom. The pain wasn't so intense. I passed out. And that's just the God's honest truth. I passed out because the pain was so intense. And I could not figure out why this was happening. Obviously, I eat a very clean diet. What the hell could be happening with me with my super clean diet? And I'll tell another story in another video about my gluten intolerance, how I came to that. But this is a very similar story, how I'm asking myself, I eat a very clean diet, where did this pain come from? So immediately I thought I did something at the gym, or I tweaked it at work or something like that. And I just couldn't figure out what it was. So fast forward, I have an episode, then I don't have an episode, then I have an episode, and so it kind of comes and goes. Once in a while I have it for 2-3 days, and I would have to take like a leave or Tylenol. Sometimes I'd have to take a leave and 2 Tylenol to get the pain to subside enough where I could function and go to work and do a show and things like that. And I hate taking those type of medications. They're not good for your liver and not good for your stomach. They dehydrate you, and me being a plant eater, I never have a problem with constipation. So for me to take a medication that's going to constipate me, I hate that. And that's not good for your body. So, but I would have to take these medications just to get through a day. So what I figured out was I would have these bouts of pain, and I went to see my acupuncturist, and it was funny because I went there just for my normal tune-up and normal service that she does just for anti-aging and anti-inflammatory and typical service. And I went there, and I said, my shoulder blade is killing me. Underneath my shoulder blade, like the muscles around my right shoulder blade. And she's like, oh, your right shoulder blade? And I said, yeah. And she said, oh, yeah, gallbladder attack. And I said, gallbladder attack? She said, oh, yeah, 100%. She's like, did you have some fatty foods? Did you have some fatty meals? Or did you have something like with a lot of fat in it? And I was like, yeah. In fact, yesterday, I remember we went out to lunch and I ate all kinds of crappy oily foods and deep fried foods that I normally don't eat. And I also was eating a lot of these bars. I was eating these bars, these vegan bars. Some of them have palm oil in them. And I said, yeah, I had a really big fatty meal yesterday. She said, yeah, 100%. She said, it's gallbladder attack, and where it shows up underneath that right shoulder blade. And she said, but she stuck some needles in me. And man, when I left that acupuncture table, I would say 65% or so of that pain was gone. So I highly recommend acupuncture. But when she told me this, started putting a little bit of a light bulb into my brain. It's like, okay, fatty foods. So then I started researching how oils and other fats that have a high omega-6 content in them are highly inflammatory to the body and highly inflammatory to the organs of the body, like the gallbladder, like the kidneys, like the pancreas. And so as I started doing more research about this, I figured out that those foods constantly cause chronic inflammation in the body, and it could show up as joint pain, back pain, hip pain, leg pain. I remember that when Zach Wild had his went into the hospital, he said he was having pain in his calf for a very long time, and he couldn't figure out what it was, and it was a blood clot. So it was clogged arteries from his alcohol abuse and his high-fat diet. So pain can come from not just stubbing your toe and cutting your finger. It can come from foods that you're eating. So what I did was I cut out all the oils. I don't eat any oils anymore. Once in a while, if I have something that's got a little bit in it, I understand that the next day I'm going to have a little bit of twinge in that shoulder blade. But I really, really, really try to not eat any oils of any kind. And since that I've done that, I have not had any more episodes in my shoulder at all, as long as I stay away from oils, because oils are very high in omega-6 and omega-9 fats, which can be very highly inflammatory to the body. I'll tell you one other story quick. I never had any problems with my wrists. As long as I've been playing guitar, I've never had any pain whatsoever. 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago, I jammed my thumb at work, and so from time to time, my right wrist would be really sore. And I thought it was because I jammed my thumb that time. But what was weird is there'd be some days it would feel good, and some days it would frickin' be killing me. And I would go do a show, and I'd get done with the show, and it would feel great. And then I would get done from a show, and it would feel terrible. And so there was never no really rhyme or reason. This is why these things are hard to figure out. It was no rhyme or reason on why it hurts one day and it doesn't hurt another day. Because if you injure it, typically it's going to hurt every day until it feels better. But this was hit or miss, back and forth. Some days it was hurting, some days it wasn't. Didn't matter if I went to the gym or anything. So what I finally figured out as I did more research is that I was eating a lot of nuts and seeds, because there's a lot of health benefits from the healthy fats in the nuts and seeds. But what I also found out as I researched it deeper is that nuts and seeds have a very high omega-6 content of their omega-6 fats. Almonds, cashews, Brazil nuts, pumpkin seeds, all these things that I was eating that do have other health benefits, like lowering cholesterol and all of these things. That's what was causing my wrist pain. So I stopped eating all the nuts that I was eating, and my wrist pain disappeared. Completely disappeared. And as long as I stay away from nuts and seeds and oils, I don't have the shoulder pain, I don't have the wrist pain. So I'm telling you that even though there's a food out there that may be purported to be a health food, that it can cause pain and discomfort in your body. When my dad had 3 back surgeries, because they kept telling him, well, you need this surgery on your back in order to fix this pain in your back, his pain never went away after 3 surgeries, because his pain was the bacon and the cheeseburgers and the pizzas and the beer and the smoking that he was doing on a daily basis. He was clogging his arteries in his back. And if you don't think you can have clogged arteries in anywhere of your body, ask Zach Wild from Ozzy Osbourne's band. He had pain in his calf for a long time, never did anything about it, and it was a blood clot. So you can have clots and clogged arteries anywhere. And my dad had clogged arteries in his back, and that's why the back surgeries never fixed the problem, because it didn't get to the root cause of the problem, which is diet and lifestyle. So that's my tip for you today. If you have pain, Look into what foods are inflammatory. And there are certain foods that are inflammatory that everyone knows about. Animal products, meat, cheese, dairy, eggs. These are all things that can be highly inflammatory. Really bad, highly processed foods can be very inflammatory to the body, and everyone knows about those. But there are also foods out there that are healthy foods like nuts and seeds that still can be highly inflammatory to the body, can cause pain every day. So it's important for you guys to dig into it, research it, and really pay attention to your diet. And I'm going to tell a story in the next video about how I figured out my gluten intolerance, because you have to really pay attention to your diet over 3-4 days. Look into the inflammatory foods, cut them out completely for 2 weeks. If the situation gets better, then slowly add one at a time the foods back into your diet to find out what is the offending food. That's my tip for today. Pain can be more than just overexertion or acute pain from injury. Pain can be from the food that you're eating, headaches coming from the caffeine you're drinking, wrist pain, back pain, neck pain. All these things are related to diet and lifestyle just as much as they are as to stubbing your toe or cutting your finger or banging your hand on a steering wheel like I did. So that's my tip for you guys today. Check it out. Check me out on Facebook, on Instagram. Buy my cookbook. I got all kinds of anti-inflammatory foods that you can consume in that cookbook. And if you're looking for a coach to help you lose weight and get your health back on track, message me on Facebook. All right, love you guys. We'll see you.